Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Lyrics. I am Elena Rodriguez. I am the author of the book Crowned by Faith, which has the soundtrack that goes along with every chapter, and that is what we are here to break apart. Guys, we go deep. I am really sharing part of my heart with the world, my pain, my experiences, all because God said, use these as examples to show others what it looks like to look at experiences through the lens of God's love. That is simply why we are here. My experiences are no different than yours. My pain is no different than yours. It shows up differently. It happens at different ages and different times throughout our lives. But the whole message here, the whole goal is to help you look at your experiences through the lens of God's love. Because once you do that, it completely transforms, and that is how your life will change forward. All right, so tonight we are going to start with a very early clip. This song is written a little differently. This is the chapter called Running to Love. It is the chapter I literally ran away from home, jumped out my window, hightailed it 3.5 hours away to another state, and ran away. But looking at this chapter, it's really about a message to my mom. And this song is really written from the perspective of, let me try to explain to you, Mom, where I was at that time. And of course, we're talking 30 some years ago, but it's amazing at how you can still feel like you are right in that moment. So we're going to start with this clip, and then we're going to move into a little portion of the book. If you have read the chapter, please let us know if you've read the chapter Running to Love. The song is called Rearview Prayers, and it's simply because I remember looking in my rearview mirror as I was driving away, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But if you have read the chapter, please let me know. And if you have any questions at any time about any of it, like I say, maybe there are things that this triggers in you. Maybe there are some things that you're still struggling with. So if anything pops up for you, if you have questions about anything at any time along the way, please feel free to drop them down, and we'll just go through. We're going to go into this little intro clip that I want to share for you, because again, this song, even though it coincides with the chapter, it was really a message from me to my mom. That's where I had to go when I was really thinking about the lyrics and what did I want this song to make you feel when you heard it, whether you knew the whole story or not, whether you know me or not. I wanted you to feel where I was coming from, even if you heard the song just driving down the road on your Spotify playlist and didn't know anything about me or the book. All right, so let's get this one started.
Dear Mama, please don't cry. If you're reading this, it means I'm already gone. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm not running from you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to find where my heart belongs. I promise. Somehow, someday, I'll find my way back home.
And there we go. So you can tell that just that intro, it's just my little note, my little message to my mom. And we open up the chapter talking about sometimes we run away from one life only to stumble into God's plan. Now, I have to feel that when I look back at this whole experience, this whole traumatic time, not only in my life, but in the ripple effect, like our actions affect other people's actions. And so when I look at the bomb that I personally dropped in this whole family. I also know that it was something that needed to happen in order for me to begin stepping into hearing God's voice. And we'll talk about that. I open my bedroom window and twist the crank until the hinges sigh. They're tired. It swings outward, not up. So I want you to envision you have a window that's cranking and it opens this way. It's not a window that you like slide up. It only opens at an angle so much. So I have to squeeze through. I've packed soft duffel bags so they'll slip out first. 1, 2, I ease them into the yard, climb after, and push them into the trunk. Careful not to slam. It's mid-afternoon. The house is dark. My stepdad, my bonus dad, he's asleep after his late shift at the bar. We owned a restaurant. It comes with the territory. You work late. He won't hear me. That's my thinking. He's asleep. He won't hear me. This morning, I wrote a letter to my mom, and I left it on the ironing board. The one place I know her eyes will land. She'll see it as soon as she opens my room. It's right there in the middle of the ironing board. It's a note paper, folded small. I hardly remember what I said. I just know that the shape of the decision felt bigger than the words. And what that means is I knew that the choice that I was making, this decision that I was actually making at 17 years old, was bigger. Actually, was I? Yes, I was 17. Was bigger than you can fit into words. So how do you put into words, I'm leaving? Like, how do you do that? So I don't really remember what I wrote. I don't really know if my mom kept the note. We've never talked about it. I've never asked her. But that's where we are right now. So I want you to kind of just put yourself in this space. And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to share a photo of myself that we'll come back to. But I want you to see all of this in your head as we're talking through this. So let me see if I can bring this photo up. If you can see this, this is actually taken probably just weeks before I decided to leave home. And this is actually my senior picture that as we get into the book chapter, further into the chapter, you will find out that my mom had to go and pick up my senior pictures after I had just left. So this is a very traumatic, difficult time in our lives. Before we move on, I want to take you into the clip.
Dear mama, don't cry when you read this. I just need to find where my heart fits in. I'm chasing love down this long dirt road with the wind in my hair and the unknown.
So there we are. Are we feeling it? Are you guys feeling this with me? I slide into the driver's seat. The key turns. Gravel nudges under the tires as I roll out. Soft crunch, steady breath. Dust lifts in the rearview mirror. That image, the road, dust, the ache of leaving has haunted me since I was 8. Standing in the driveway, watching my dad's copper gold Corvette disappear. Only this time, I'm in the driver's seat, and the dust belongs to me. So for a minute, I want to just bring up the fact that in all of our lives, I'm sure that we can all look at some place in our life where history has repeated itself, where patterns show up again. And if you were with me in chapter 1, The Dust Didn't Define Me, that was all about my dad leaving. That was the root of everything. That memory moment, that soul tattoo of being 8 years old, left on that gravel road, watching him as he drove away, feeling unloved, feeling unworthy, while he crossed the country, remarried, had kids, stepkids. Here we are now, same gravel road, same chase because of love. And it's ironic. Like, you look back and you think, wow, did that at some place in my mind get planted as like a subconscious thought that just leave, just take off, just roll with it, just go do it? Because here it was, the exact same scenario, even though it was a little bit different. And when I thought about that freaking dust, that long trail, I mean, there's so much symbolic meaning to just leaving the dust behind. And so that's where I found myself. As we get a little bit further in, we'll go into our second clip so that you guys can understand how I sync the lyrics with the flow of the chapter. So here we go.
The gravel kicks up like memories behind, while your prayers echo softly in my mind. I know you fear the silence where my laughter used to live, but Mama, please believe me, this is something I must give.
All right, so how we doing? This one is a tough one for me. This one chokes me up. This one puts the lump in my throat because I love my mama so much. She's my forever date, but I know that I caused her so much pain. I know that because I'm a mom. And my whole perspective was I was just chasing love. I just wanted to be seen. I wanted to feel like somebody would notice my absence. And when you look back, I realized today how much my mom had to work, how much my stepdad had to work. Like they worked all the time. It was no one was home. And I realized they needed to do that. They had to do that. And all I wanted was, will anybody even notice if I'm gone? They won't even care. Like, that was my thinking. They won't even care if I'm gone. They don't even see me when I'm here. And so it almost takes you to a place, if you have children, to try to see where they are in their lives at that time and how what you're doing affects them. And this is a very difficult chapter for me. And of course, we've moved on and we've moved forward, but you can't take certain things away. You can heal from them, you can understand them, but that's that soul tattoo. It's that imprint. It will never go away. And it's important to talk about. So here I found myself with the gravel kicks up with the memories behind, while your prayers echoed softly in my mind. Not only her prayers, but my grandma's prayers. My grandma was with me through everything. I carried her with me. Then we go into, I know you fear the silence where my laughter used to live. I know she was worried for me. So that part isn't really about leaving silence behind. That really isn't about me leaving like an empty room. That's me knowing as a mom that she was afraid for me, that she could see experiences ahead for me because she had lived her own. So I know that she had that fear. Is her heart going to get broken? Is she going to be taken care of? How is her life going to be? Like, there's so many angles that you can look at this. And then I said, but Mama, please believe me. This is something I must give. And what I meant by that is I got to give myself a chance. I got to give myself a chance at love. I got to give myself a chance at having a family around me. I got to give myself a chance to feel seen, to feel like I matter, that my absence will be felt. Like, so it's so complex. And even though it seems like a couple sentences, there's so many angles of emotion and experience that were coming through at that time. That's why I said this process of writing this book was deep. Some of you might think like, yeah, I just wanted to put my story in ink. And no, God took me on this journey, but not just for me. He knew I was going to come out here and do this. He knew I was going to bring up some topics and some conversation that other people need to hear, that other people need to heal through. So it's been a very emotional journey for me, but so rewarding, bringing me such peace. There's so many things that affect everyone. And this is just kind of a random topic, but around Christmas, I always watch It's a Wonderful Life. So if you've ever seen that movie, let me know. It's the one that's in black and white. They have it in color now, but it's the one where George Bailey wishes that he had never been born. And so he's able to see his life through that lens. Clarence, the angel, allows him to see what his impact has been in the lives of other people and in what would have happened had he never been born. And so what we don't realize is how much we impact other people while we are here. So there are times when you feel you don't matter. There are times when you feel you're not that important. There are times that you feel my absence won't be noticed. And that is so not true. That is so not true. And so when my sister says, yeah, she had just gotten married, she left home, and that's going to make me cry too. She was on her own journey. But with the way that our childhood was, basically, she's all I had. And, you know, we're 7 years apart. Yeah, she's got to move on with her life. She's got to do the things that matter in her life. But I'm talking, I clinged on to my sister. I slept in her bedroom. I was with her all the time. Her friends basically took me in as their little sidekick. And so even though I'm growing up and I'm in my teenage years, I'm acting like I'm mad at the world. I'm starting to drink. I'm starting to party. I don't really care. And she had to go do her thing. So now we're at a point where it's like, I'm out of here. Nobody really is going to notice that I'm here or not. So it's really important to realize that we all impact another person's life, whether we realize it or not. And just know that you matter that much. Whether you feel like you don't or not, you matter that much in your life today. So let's move on. I knew this was going to be this is one of we get into like many difficult chapters, and I share this because I'm happy today. Today is a good day. But if you are in the middle of struggle, know that your good day is coming. And if I can be an example to speak of God's love and to help show that there are blessings through so much pain, that's what this is for. That's what this is for. So here we go, where I say, This isn't the story people expect, me running away from home. On paper, I'm a success. Student council, good grades, pom-pom captain. My senior year is starting. Someone even had already started nominating my name, floating around for homecoming court. I have friends, but I'm still lonely. 3 hours of highway give my nerves time to settle. When I finally pull into his family's driveway, I put the car in park and sit for a minute. Everything moves in slow motion. Then I open the door and step into whatever this new life is. And we're going to play another clip here.
Dear mama, I'm chasing love tonight through winding roads and fading light. The past in the rear view, hope up ahead. I'll carry your prayers in everything I've said. I promise I'll find my way home again, even if I come back changed by the wind.
And we all know I came back changed by the wind, a whole whirlwind. So here we go. His dad meets me outside. His English is broken, but his meaning is clear. Are you sure? He asks. You want to live here with us? Make your life here? Yes, I say, no hesitation. His eyes softened. You are part of the family now. Easy as that. Then the shock. He tells me my dad called. Like my dad? My dad in Arizona, dad? My dad called? The one in Arizona with a new life? The one who rarely checks on me? How could he possibly know I'm here? So the chain of calls unspools. My stepdad called my mom the second I drove away, begging her to get the cops involved to bring me back. My mom refused. Let her go, she said. But she called my dad just so he would know. So I pick up the living room phone and tug the long cord, everything had those long curly cords, into the side bedroom to carve out a little privacy. I feel watched, even though no one's looking. Hi, Dad, I say, that old lump rising. And if you remember in chapter 1, when I talked about when he left and I felt like I just swallowed a bowling ball that would sit there for years, I felt like I was always on edge, like this lump was always there. Like if anybody asked the wrong questions or said the wrong things, like this whole thing was going to just, like the dam was going to break. So I could feel that lump. I could feel that. So I say, hi, Dad. No anger, no lecture, just one question. Are you happy? I tell him the truth. Yes, I'm tired of being alone, of feeling like no one notices if I'm home or not. In this noisy, crowded house, I am not invisible. They travel together. When the band plays, they eat around a table. They go to the park. They don't have much, but they have each other. And I feel loved here. So he and the dad here Him and my dad, the dad here, switched to Spanish. They're now talking to each other. I catch enough to hear the promise. She's like my own daughter. She is safe. She is protected. And just like that, my new life begins. And it really was just like that. And when I think over the years, okay, by now I'm 17. We met when we were 14. He stood up with me in my quinceañera. That's chapter 3. So throughout these years, I had seen everyone here and there, back and forth. But now I'm like showing up with my duffel bags and I'm not going home. My new life begins. So let's listen to one more clip here.
I saw him there, the one I dreamed, a spark of love where nothing seemed. New family's arms pulled me inside, but something in me still said run and hide.
Okay, so I see Gina's. Even as he tried running after her in his underwear. So yes, that is actually in the chapter. I didn't read that portion, but if you remember, I said it's the middle of the day. I'm being super quiet. I'm climbing out my window. My dad had, worked the bar late that night. He doesn't wake up during the day. Don't you know, like sometimes when you try to be quiet, those noises that are just odd seem to be the loudest. I have no idea how he woke up. Like, I have no idea how he heard me unless I simply wasn't as quiet as I thought. But when I was taking off and I looked in the rear view mirror, I literally saw him standing at the porch in his underwear because he was shouting for me. He was like screaming for me. And so he hurried up and went and called his brother, and they were like, call the cops, we're going to bring her back, like all this stuff. And that's when my mom said, just let her go. Just let her go. And I don't know how that had to have felt for my mom, because you can say something like that and she wasn't saying that because she didn't love me. She wasn't saying that because she didn't want me home, but she was saying that because she knew, just let her go. She'll find her way. There's that part of me that obviously was like my dad that had to just go. And she knew that. And I'll never know what that actually did for her and my bonus dad's relationship. I'm sure they didn't see eye to eye on that. But that was where my mom was coming from. Just let her go. So here we are. So my new life begins, right? In my new home, though, I was seen. And again, guys, we just jump through the chapter. Of course, I'm not reading like the whole chapter. I'm just pulling bits and pieces out.
If today's episode speaks to you, Crowned by Faith is the book behind these stories and songs. You can order your copy at crownedbyfaithcollective.com.
They treated me with kindness, folded me into the noise and the laughter. The adjustment, it wasn't easy. Waiting for the bathroom, right? I'm by myself all the time, and now there's like a million people in one house with one bathroom. That was an adjustment. Waiting for the bathroom, learning to share everything, but it was joyful. For the first time in years, life felt connected, loud, alive. Still, the guilt clung quietly to the corners of my heart. When I later heard my mom started smoking again after I left, I broke a little inside. I blamed myself. Maybe I was stubborn like my dad, doing what I thought I had to do to survive. But looking back, I can see God was already using that strong will for something holy. He was teaching me that sometimes strength looks like leaving and grace looks like coming home again. And the reason that I say this, let's do one more clip before we get into this whole topic, because if there's any reason for me running away and into this household, this is the reason. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute.
Your letter stayed folded in my glove box, safe reminders of love and your endless grace. I know you wonder if I'll lose who I've been, but your faith is the thread that I'm woven in.
All right. So we really need to get into that space of that faith that's woven in. Because when I was home alone all the time, even though when I would be at my grandma's and we would kneel at her altar and we would pray and we would go to church every Sunday, at home, there really just wasn't a whole lot of that. I know faith was always there. I know God was always there, but it was never a priority. It was never important, really. And I felt that. I knew that. I never felt lacking in faith because, like I said, I was always at my grandma's and we would go to church a lot. But at home, it just wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a focus. It wasn't an emphasis. In this home, that was different. Everything changed, but not for everyone. So that's how I know God placed me where I needed to be, not only for me, but for his dad. And this sounds crazy, but for his dad. And here's why. So mornings, his dad opens a Bible at the table. He always uses the same trio: a yellow highlighter, a red pen, a blue pen. He underlines and circles and then brings verses to me to talk it through. He wants to make sure he understands since it's in English. And remember, he spoke English, but not very fluently. So he would always bring these things that he wanted to talk about and make sure that he was understanding the way that he was reading it through the Bible. And he just would always mark it up and underline. I find myself enjoying it. Soon, I'm marking up my own thin pages. Prayer starting to feel less like duty and more like oxygen. The truth is, I needed it. I need them. I need the prayers. When I'm alone, I drink. And this is something that a lot of people didn't know. I drank a lot of beer. A lot of beer. My first beer is at 13. Beer becomes a way to soften edges I don't know how to face. My dad is an alcoholic. I know it. I drink anyway. I like the forgetting. In this house, there's no drinking during the week and absolutely no drinking for any of the kids ever. So remember, being in a band, you're traveling, you're going to these dances, you're practicing, there's people over all the time. It's like a big party all the time. So yeah, there was drinking on the weekends, but throughout the week, absolutely none. And none of the kids, like it's not even a thing. Like, so I was totally removed from the opportunity to continue to drink. On the weekends at the dances, the dads and uncles have beers at home. It's faith, family, work, band practice, and for me, the beginning of a different kind of love. The dust I watched as a child, the dust of being left, becomes the dust I make by running. But this time it doesn't mean abandonment. It means arrival. It means a chance to belong. And for me, I really feel like it was the first steps that I was taking towards understanding that I could have my own relationship with God. But he had to remove me from an environment that I was creating for myself that could have ended very, very differently. And I see that now. I remember talking about my drinking. I was worried. I was worried because even at 15, 16 years old, I would drink to get drunk. I remember it was cool because when we were in high school and some of my friends were just starting to drink, they were getting drunk and they were, acting all crazy, flipping all over the couches. And I could sit there and drink with the guys. I could hang because I had been drinking for years. And that's not really something to be proud of, but it's my truth. My 13th birthday, I celebrated by getting drunk and throwing up in a strawberry shortcake trash can. Happy birthday to me. So by me running away, my heart needed something. I was chasing something. I didn't even really know what. But by being placed in this home, I found God. And I found a place that it was comfortable to talk about. And the crazy thing is that the dad, he became like a dad to me, but one that I actually communicated with, could see all the time. But his own kids really discarded him when it came time to talk about the Bible and things like that. So you know how that is when it's like your own parents and you're like, oh my gosh, don't preach to me. I don't want to do that right now. But we actually enjoyed it with each other. So I brought that to him. I brought that comfort in that peace, in that space of belonging, that it's okay to bring these questions to me. It's okay to bring your Bible that's all marked up and let's talk about it, because everybody else just blew him off, which is normal when you're in it all the time. But I didn't see it that way. I was craving attention. I was craving conversation. I was craving a dad. So by running away, God knew that giving me that strong will, giving me that, attitude, that stubbornness, it was actually going to take me where I needed to be to, number one, not turn into an alcoholic like my dad, to not damage my health at such a young age, but to actually make it okay to talk to God. And I look at that now and I'm like, wow. But that's the thing. God's ways are not our ways. And so causing pain, causing that anguish, causing that ache that I will forever carry, that I know I caused my mother and obviously my sister too, it was still the right thing for me at that time, because I don't know who I would have become had I not done that. I don't know who I would have become. So let's go into one more clip here.
And when the nights get cold and I feel alone, I hear your voice and I know I'm not on my own. God found me here in this place unknown, and He reminds me your love is my home. Dear Mama, I'm chasing love tonight.
So that's the main bridge. She's belting it out. But that whole part is that reminder that when the nights get cold and I feel alone, I hear your voice and I know I'm not on my own. That's me talking to God. That's me saying that on these nights that I, even though I knew I was in the right place, it didn't mean that it was easy. I remember my first Thanksgiving away from home, knowing that all my family was together and I was there. They ended up band practicing, that evening, and I sat in the bedroom with his sister, but it was not easy. It was hard. I missed people, but I knew I was where I needed to be. So when I talk about when the nights get cold and I feel alone, I missed my family. So I prayed to God. I knew that God was there. And so when it says God found me here in this place unknown, there were many times I laid there thinking, what the hell? Like, you freaking ran away from home. Like, what are you doing? I mean, trust me, there are many, many nights I had those thoughts, but God found me there. God found me there, and he reminded me that his love is my home. And that's what those lyrics mean. So as we come into kind of like the wrapping up of the chapter before we get into the other segments, I ran away from home and somehow I ran straight toward God. That turns out to be the greatest move of all. I didn't know it then, but that little act of rebellion was really a cry for belonging. I wasn't just running to love a boy. I was running toward the feeling of being chosen, seen, and safe. What I thought was escape was actually invitation, a doorway God used to start rewriting my story. And that's huge, because what is God using in your life as a doorway to start rewriting your own story? Like I said, God's ways are not our ways. Chances are God is opening up a doorway that might be excruciating. The pain might feel unbearable, but he's opening that to give you the opportunity to rewrite your story. So we're going to go into one last little clip.
Mama, I made it. And you were right. God never left me. Thank you for praying for me every night.
So we're recharged. But that ending is really like my final message to be able to tell my mom, from today's perspective, I made it. I put us through hell. I ripped all of our hearts out. I made some really big mistakes along the way, but I made it. And she was right. God never left me. And, we all have those moments. And so for that doorway to be opened, as we get further along in the book, if you have not gotten the book, I highly recommend you get it, because you're going to want to read some of these chapters. But guys, I'm just going to give you fair warning. We jumped ahead last week and went into chapter 11 titled Christmas Eve, because it was about my husband that passed away on Christmas Eve. But we are going to get into some very dark chapters, some very painful chapters. And there's something different about me, that I'm not afraid to look at pain. I find the gift in it. There's a lot of power in it. And because it doesn't feel good, it's painful. Many people don't like to go there. They want to avoid things. They want to brush them under the rug. They want to cover it up with something else. Maybe you are covering yours with alcohol. Maybe you're covering yours with drugs. Maybe you're covering yours with another relationship. Like maybe you cover it with gambling, addictions, like whatever. It's because pain doesn't feel good. But I happen to have just been given this like weird gift that I love looking at the deep things. I love looking at the things that could have broken us, but didn't. And the mere fact that you may be going through something excruciating, many of you, I do know your stories. I do know where you're at. The fact that you are still here says everything that you already need to know. God's not done with you yet. Look at that pain, use it, make it count for something. Understand that what he is putting you through, the circumstances that you are going through are not just because. They're because he's got something on the other side waiting for you. So just keep going. But in order to be the person ready to receive those blessings, that little walkway through that doorway that's very painful, it's transforming you. It's changing you. It's building endurance. It's shaping you. It's sculpting you. So this period that hurts, that sucks, that maybe you want to forget, there's a gift in this moment that you're experiencing right now. And unfortunately, the way God works, you never understand it until you look back. You never see it clearly until you can look back at it. You don't see it when you're in it. So just keep going. That's all that I can say. Because these chapters coming up, they're going to get excruciating. They're going to be hard for me. Y'all saw me cry already tonight. They're going to be difficult. But there's so much transformation that takes place that I know if you are here to tune in, it's because you're going through something yourself. I already know that. God is only bringing this in front of the people that need it. It's not a vanity thing. I am here because he told me I need to be here. So as we get going further along, just know that if you are here for the journey, it's because God's up to something in your life too. Okay. So as we move in, you know that every chapter has through the lens of God's love. And again, I just pull bits and pieces out. It's not like I've read you the whole chapter. But what I do know is through the lens of God's love, I see that dust in the rear view wasn't only a sign of leaving, it was a sign of becoming. When I'm 8, the same cloud means abandonment, a tail light shrinking, my dad's Corvette fading down the road. But years later, as I press the gas and make my own dust, God shows me something different. Sometimes running away is really running toward him. So even in desperation, even in what looks like rebellion, he is guiding me toward family, toward faith, toward a home where scripture and prayer begin to reshape my life. Love reframes the story. What once whispered, "You're not worth staying for," what I heard in my head, now declares, "You are worth protecting." What once looked like rejection becomes the marker of belonging. So if you've ever felt like pieces of you were left scattered on a gravel road, take heart. God can turn every dust cloud, even the ones born of broken choices, into soil where new life begins. And that's the message. God can take the messiest of messes and make them beautiful. And chances are that's mostly how he works. Very rarely do we see the blessing come out of everything that's always good and happy, joy, go lucky all the time. It doesn't work that way. So As we prepare to wrap up today's episode, I hope that you found some value in whatever he was flowing through me and also through the words that are my story. But there is a crowned truth. There is a crowned truth to this. Sometimes the decision that looks reckless is actually the first step toward freedom. Running away doesn't always mean running from God. Sometimes it means running toward the life he is preparing you for. Even in risky or imperfect choices, he uses people and places to draw us closer to his word and his presence. The wrong environment can still teach the right lessons. What feels like escape can become the very place God awakens your spirit, pulling you closer to him while protecting you from destructive paths. And by me looking at my chapter, Running to Love, and looking at my experience of running away, I can now see that crowned truth that I wasn't running from something. God was using that experience to bring me towards something. I was leaving self-destruction, and who knows where I would have ended up if I was alone all the time, drinking at a young age, and depressed. I may not be here today. And I don't know, I don't know, but I may not be here today had I felt so alone, so depressed, drinking all the time. And God knew that. So by me making a decision to do something really hard, it was the best thing for me at the time. And I'm here to talk about it. So that is the crown truth. So that's where we are leaving tonight. That's where we are this evening. And I want to thank you for allowing me the space to be so open, to be very transparent, also to be extremely vulnerable. As we have gone week by week by week with this Behind the Lyrics, it's getting easier to just come on and put it out there. In the beginning, I was extremely nervous. It's getting easier now. But you can pick up the book at crownedbyfaithcollective.com. And in the book, guys, I want to just show this little piece too. For the soundtrack, every chapter ends with the QR code. And if you simply scan the QR code, you will be taken directly to the page that will play the song. It will play just the song, or it will have the link to the lyric video, or you can download off Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all the things. But these are designed to go hand in hand. As we tune in next week, we're going to get into a chapter called Accepting What Wasn't Mine. And as excruciating as running away from home was, this is the beginning of really my heart being ripped apart. Well, I guess that happened when I was 8 too, but as an adult, young adult, the start of more destruction. It just seemed like it just never ended. But as we get into accepting what wasn't mine, we're going to cover the song titled Letting Go. So that will be next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you soon.
If today's episode speaks to you, Crowned by Faith is the book behind these stories and songs. You can order your copy at crownedbyfaithcollective.com.
Comeback dance. I walked through nights I never talked about. Pero mírame ahora, shining anyway. God help me when I felt alone, and now my heart beats louder, brighter, ready to claim everything He promised. No more hiding who I am, no more dimming this glow. He turned my scars into stories.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.